Hey guys, Steven Hyder here with Gate City Sports Channel. I want you guys to take a little journey with me, okay? I want you to imagine that you're taking the wife or the husband and the kids on a nice tropical vacation. Maybe you're going to one of those nice beachfront amusement, parks. I want you to imagine, Ocean City, Myrtle Beach, Santa Monica Pier, Santa Cruz, okay? And you're relaxed. You got a Corona in your hand. Don't stop getting suspicious, guys. I'm not here to give you bad news. You're not waiting in the doctor's office. There's not results coming back. Just relax. I just want to calm you guys down. You know, think about having that nice, beverage in your hand, the nice ocean breeze kicking up, nice sunny day. And oh yeah, one last thing. There's a chance we might be keeping Alshon Jeffery. What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Steven Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Listen up, guys. If you're new to the channel, I'd love to add you to the community, but please, I need you to hit that subscribe button in order for that to happen. Number two, all my OGs, you know what I'm going to ask you to do. Hit that thumbs up button so that way we can communicate with YouTube and get the content pushed out across the platform. All right, y'all. Today's topic, as you might have guessed, I hate to say it, guys, but we need to face the real possibility the Philadelphia Eagles might have very few choices other than to bring back Alshon Jeffery for at least one more year, one more season, guys. And it's not I don't want this to be taken out of context of what I'm saying here. This is not the choice I personally want. I'm just judging the tea leaves as they're falling. And I got to be honest with you, boy, I think we need to consider the real possibility that we're not parting ways with Alshon Jeffery. All right, y'all, let's jump into today's topic.
I think we forget some of the contributions to our team that Alshon has had.
All right, guys, what I really want to talk about here is we really have to jump into the money of the situation here. And if you go to overthecap.com/calculator/Philadelphia Eagles, forward slash again, what you'll see is the 2020, 2021, basically all the way down through 2028 salary cap estimates. Right now, because of the way that we reworked the contracts of people like, Darius Slay signing, right? The way that we worked contracts for people like Malik Jackson, et cetera, all new players we just signed, it freed us up to where we still have $30.8 million of available cap space this season. Leads me to believe maybe we're not done yet. That's a lot of cap space available still. However, if you look at 2021, we're at 19 mil in the hole now. Because of the way they worked the contracts, guys, we went from having about 20 mil of available cap space this season to having 30 mil of available cap space this season. But instead of only being in the hole $4 million for 2021, now we currently stand at $19.9 million in the hole. Almost 20 million in the hole, guys. It's a big deal. Now, we all know that Alshon Jeffery factors into this equation. The reason being is when you go look at Alshon Jeffery's contract, he's really had his contract guaranteed for the 2019 and the 2020 season. In the 2020 season, he is scheduled to make $15.4 million. That will be his cap number. Now, his base salary will be basically $9.9 million, $9.910 million. He'll have $5.536500 in a prorated bonus. He will have $0 for a workout bonus. He'll have $9.9 in guaranteed salary. So his entire base salary is guaranteed this season. And that works out with the prorated bonus along with the base salary to be about $15.4 million. Okay. But he's protected by that dead money figure of 26.106. If you were to trade Alshon Jeffery, of course, that would shrink that number a little bit. Not completely. You're not writing off $26 million, guys, but it would shrink it. If you were to cut him with a June 1st designation, you could then take that $26 million and lump it over 2 seasons. The problem being is it would only cost you about $1 million this season because you take $16 million this season because he already has a $15 million, essentially cap number. You're only losing about $1 million in cap space there. Not a big deal when you got $30 million guaranteed. The problem is now you have that additional $10 million coming off the books next season, which you're still going to come out with a positive, okay? But we're 19 mil in the hole next year. It just seems likely to me that the Eagles, given the state of the roster right now and the state of these contracts, might be willing to hold on to Alshon Jeffery as a result of all this, guys. And I hate to say it, but it's just true when you look at the numbers. I just think it makes a lot more sense to release him next year where he's scheduled to make 18.5 against the cap, and he only has a $10.6 million, dead cap on him. So basically, you would have a $7.8 million savings by cutting him. If you trade him, it'd be less. If you look at it from Alshon Jeffery's perspective, even, guys, right now, no one wants to trade for an injured player who has negativity attached to his name, and on top of that is aging. But if you can get that negativity off your name, show that maybe those injuries were a bit of a fluke and you are a healthier football player than people think, and can put together a productive season. Although you're going to, I don't think he'll be ready by week 1, guys. I think this injury is more significant than maybe the organization is letting on. But nonetheless, if you can show that you're productive, maybe you'd have trade value to where the Eagles can move you. Very least, when the Eagles cut you, at least you might have a fighting chance of getting a decent contract. People will look at you and go, yo, it's still Alshon Jeffery. He's still only like 30 years old. And the guy balled out the season, before. It's in his best interest as well, guys. I'm not saying this is 100% certainty. I think if you would ask me 30 days ago, I would have said that it's about, 60-40, 60% in favor of Alshon Jeffery being released, 40% in him signing. I'd flip the odds now. I'd say now it's about 60% that he remains with the football team and 40% we either trade or release him. And, like I said, not 100% guarantee. There's still the distinct possibility the Eagles could just get frustrated with the situation and let him go. But the fact that we did not but we did not sign guys like, Robbie Anderson, right? The fact that we didn't go out there and get any other free agent wide receiver to fill up the Dorsetts, anyone else who could have added to the offense, it seems to make you think that maybe, just maybe, the Eagles do plan on playing him this upcoming season. It's not something I want personally. I don't think that's the right call. But I just think if you look at the way the salary cap's shaking out and you look at the way that it just benefits both parties right now to get this thing figured out, at least hold it together for one more season. It is what it is, guys. And let's talk about some more stuff on that note. First read, no. Second read, no. Third read, touchdown. So on the notes of why the Eagles might possibly bring in Alshon Jeffery, has a lot to do with the uncertain nature of Zach Ertz. I know some people think it's ludicrous to think that Zach Ertz can be traded. Let me remind you, we are $19 million in the hole for next season. It's not that unlikely, guys. Number 2, when you look at this whole situation is when you go to third down receivers, people that Carson Wentz likes to throw to on third down, you have Zach Ertz and Alshon Jeffery. Towards the end of last season, when we finally started to utilize Greg Ward as a slot receiver and realized that we had made a mistake keeping him on the practice squad this whole season, we saw that he started actually becoming a go-to guy on third down. So, if you release Alshon Jeffery, on one hand, it probably gives some assurances maybe the Eagles might try to figure something out with Zach Ertz. But at the same time, maybe it shows a little more trust on guys like Greg Ward Jr. and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Which, let's be honest, what we do on the draft, decisions we make over the roster, lets us know what we think about some of these players. If you let an Alshon Jeffery go, and then you go into the draft and you don't take a guy like a T. Higgins, you don't take a Denzel Mims, you don't take a Laviska Shenault, those guys to me are your very prototypical like X wide receivers, right? Denzel Mims is a guy that could play X or honestly the Y. He could play both. He's fast enough to play the Y, but he's an X. Laviska Shenault is a traditional classic X. T. Higgins is a traditional classic X. He's a very Alshon Jeffery-like player. If you don't take a guy there and you let go of Alshon Jeffery, right? But then you draft a guy like, I don't know, let's say you draft, let's say all the cards fall in your place and you get a Ruggs, you get a Henry Ruggs. Or let's say you analyze the roster and you realize that Henry Ruggs isn't available, but if you just kind of stay patient, trade back or draft with your film and you take a guy like a Jalen Reagor, those guys are Y receivers. Those are your Ys. That's showing trust in well, basically what you're saying is that you trust Deshaun Jackson to help you develop the talent and to be that guy to kind of help along. But also, you're showing trust in J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. That you still think J.J. Arcega-Whiteside could be your X down the road. So I do think that these decisions have meaning. I think they have great meaning if you really follow them. But these are large, large decisions that are looming, guys. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I have the answers, because I don't. I don't have the answers. All I have are theories rolling around in my head right now. But I will tell you this, I'm really good at analyzing the moves and understanding their impact. And I got to be honest with you, guys, pay close attention to who we draft. Pay close attention to the moves that are made prior to the draft and after the draft. It tells you something. You go get a T. Higgins. You go get a Laviska Shenault. You go get a Denzel Mims. Alshon and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside are not being viewed very favorably. They're not. We all know Alshon's not going to be anyways. He's only a one-year fix. He's not going to be around past this year. We know that. He may not even be around this year. I still think there's a possibility we could let him go. I just think it's trending in the direction we might keep him right now. With that said, wouldn't that say a lot about J.J. Arcega-Whiteside? So what does that make J.J. Arcega-Whiteside? A slow Y? A slower Y receiver? A big slot? I mean, he can play a big slot. Do you really want to spend the second-round pick on a big slot, though? Is that really the value you want for your slot receiver? To have to pick him out in the second round? These things have meaning is what I'm saying, guys. All right, y'all. Let's jump into a little more of this crap. I point the ball, contested catch, Alshon Jeffery special. All right, guys. If I'm analyzing this, I think there's a couple things at play here. Number one, we have to consider the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles, they didn't go out and sign anybody in free agency so far. Now, look, there's still time left, guys. There could be a trade. The only hesitation I have about the trade aspect of this is Howie Roseman, from what I'm hearing, he's not wanting to trade away any more picks. So it kind of puts us in a weird situation here. The second thing is, what is the hesitation? Why hasn't he been released already? I don't know if it has something to do with an injury settlement or what's going on, but I would have thought we would have seen movement on this by now. Now, the positives to why he might be released. I'll put it to you this way, guys. There's very little effect. I mean, over the cap, I was saying it incorrectly when I was doing the video, but it's showing a 0 cap hit for this season. And then next year, you'd save a little bit of money, even though you're eating some dead cap. Although, if you held him for one more year and then cut him next year with a June 1st designation, you certainly save a ton more money. With that said, look, a 0% cap hit this year, $0 cap hit this year, like, it's not going to affect your cap either way. I mean, that is a positive to why you might want to let him go. I mean, I understand the type of player Alshon Jeffery is. Guys, this is not Alshon Jeffery bashing for me. I still think Alshon Jeffery is still one of the best X receivers in the league. I'm not personally too far down on the whole comment things, like if he said it, if he didn't say it. I don't really care, personally. I mean, at the end of the day, I've heard people say a hell of a lot worse than that about Carson Wentz, so I don't care. My concern with Alshon Jeffery lies more with health and availability. And that's the reason why I think the Eagles should cut him. He's not available. He's taking up a roster space. I heard 11 months on this injury, which means mid-October to November before he gets back. Why have someone take up a roster space that long? You know you're not going to have him back next year anyways, more than likely. There's just no way of getting the money around that. We're already $19 million in the hole. Might as well rip the Band-Aid off. Get rid of this guy. I mean, I don't see the point of it any longer, guys. The only hesitation I see is the Eagles must be still trying to find out and get new wide receiver coach Aaron Moorhead's opinion on J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. And I think that's the wild card to this all, is Aaron Moorhead and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Now, Aaron Moorhead has been conducting interviews. From my understanding, he's been conducting interviews to like a Skype-type feature with some of these wide receivers. I've heard some rumblings coming out that apparently Aaron Moorhead really, really likes Jalen Reagor. I don't blame him. I watched a little bit of his film, and I think he's pretty damn good, too. Apparently, Aaron Moorhead, what was reported to Aaron Moorhead is this kid lost 10 pounds and is back running a 4.3 again. So, what we see on film is now matching that 40 times. The problem is we can't confirm it because there's no official pro day, so it's really hard to confirm these type of things right now. That's the difficulty in it. But nonetheless, Aaron Moorhead and what he thinks of J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and what the Eagles do in the draft is going to tell us a lot here. Because if you're confident in J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, I think two things would happen. Number one, Alshon Jeffery is going to be gone because what good is he doing you? And then number two, You're not going to probably go after an X receiver in the draft. You're not going to go for a T. Higgins. You're not going to go for a Denzel Mims unless you plan on playing Denzel Mims at the Y. You're not going to go for a guy like a Laviska Shenault, who's clearly a traditional X like T. Higgins. You're not going to go for those type of players. You're going to go for more of your Henry Ruggs. You're going to go for more of your Jalen Riegers, right? Maybe some slot guys later in the draft, maybe Duvernay later on in the draft. Maybe you go for a guy like Hamler from Penn State. Like, what Moorhead and the insight that he gives Doug Peterson and how the front office and Doug Peterson approaches the draft is going to tell us a whole lot, guys. And that's what I'm looking for. Now, what I want to know is this from you guys. Where do you guys stand on the Alshon Jeffery issue? Okay? I want to know your personal beliefs about Alshon Jeffery, whether you would keep him or cut him. And then let me know what you think the organization's going to do. Because, man, I'm not as confident as I once was. It just feels like, why hasn't this move already happened yet? Why are we waiting to pull the Band-Aid off? If we're going to make the move, make the move. What is the point of waiting? No one's trading for this guy. I mean, come on. You got to pull the Band-Aid off, in my opinion. But let me know your thoughts, guys. You know what time it is. We're going to close out this video. And we close out videos by going E-A-G-L-E-S. All right, y'all. Let's go Eagles. Hey, tomorrow, guys, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Stay tuned in for that. I think that's the other part of this equation, guys. So I'm going to break down and talk about J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, guys.